Hello guys, I am Dr. Hades and today we will talk about Vi. She will get a really good buff next patch, so we will talk about her abilities, how to put points in her, how to gank with her build and her runes. Let's get started, but first, let's roll the intro.
It's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Before we continue the video, guys, please do not forget about the giveaway, which will take place as soon as this channel gets to 500 subscribers. So subscribe as it is 100% free and enjoy the videos. So let's get started with Vi's passive. It's called Blast Shield, and its activated abilities grant a shield equal to 50% of Vi's max health for 3 seconds when they hit an enemy. 16 seconds cooldown. Shield strength 88. Okay, so every time you use an ability and your passive is on, it grants you a shield. A really strong shield if you get more and more health. So if you build health on Vi, you get a bigger and bigger shield. It's very useful, especially early game, if you know how to use this passive. So, Vi's second ability is called a Vault Breaker, charges a powerful punch that carries Vi forward. First cast slows movement speed by 50% while increasing damage and dash range over 1.25 seconds. Second cast dashes forward, dealing 55 to 110 physical damage and applying denting blows, which is W passive, to all enemies hit. Stops upon colliding with an enemy champion, knocking it back. So, your Q ability, which is the strongest ability of yours, it's a charge ability. As you can see, I press it and for 1.25 seconds it's charged, and after that you just press release Q and it casts. So when you use your ability, your cooldown reduces with 15%, but as you press it, it charges and you can dash forward a lot longer, and the target hit knocks it back. Let's go to Vi's second ability, which is Denting Blows. Every third attack on the same target deals an additional 4% on the target's maximal health as physical damage, reduces its armor by 20%, and grants Vi 30% attack speed for 3 seconds. Max 300 damage versus monster. Triggering Denting Blows reduces the cooldown of Blast Shield by 3 seconds. So, as you can see, when I attack the Scuttler, it gives you one denting blow, then second, and then third. Once I get its armor reduced, and then my attack speed grows. Okay? But what it does more, when I use the ability, my passive has a 15% cooldown, and now, as you can see, every 3 attacks on my Scuttler reduces with 3 seconds the Blast Shield. So this ability, it's usually go last to max, but sometimes you have to max it second. But we will talk about this later. Vi's third ability, it's called Excessive Force. Causes next base attack to deal 10 physical damage to the target and enemies behind it. Vi charges a new punch every 14 seconds and can hold 2 charges at once. So when this ability costs so less. This ability has a really low cost on mana, and you can hold up to 2 charges. So what you can do is like attack and immediately after use your E. So this ability is pretty basic. After you auto attack, you immediately just press E and auto attack again with your blasting. This is the ability that usually maxed second. And let me get to level 6. And let's talk about Vi's ultimate, which is Assault and Battery. targets an enemy champion and chases it down, knocking it up for 1.25 seconds and dealing 150 physical damage. While charging, Vi cannot be stopped and has true sight of the target. Any enemies in the way are dealt damage, knocked aside, and stunned for 0.75 seconds. So this is really strong, guys. Let me show you a little bit. It's just a point and click ability. Let me show. We cannot do it on this. So, Vi's ultimate is a point and click ability. Like when I have an enemy in sight, I just press R and it casts the ultimate. But what makes it so strong? Let me show you if we have some enemies in front of our target. So let's say the last dummy is our target and we want to get to her with using our R. I used C, how these enemies got knocked away and stunned, and after that I got to my target. So it's a point and click, nobody can stop it. I think not even trash. But as it says here, while charging, Vi cannot be stopped. So you cannot be stopped after this. Let me put more dummies here. So you get only 4. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many enemies is in front of your target, Vi goes directly to her. And this is like the best ultimate that you can get, you know. You get to your target and after that you use your combo. So let's talk about Vi's combo. Vi's combo is, in my opinion, like this. You use your R and then you go with Q, knock it back, and then just press EE and you're done. So once again, you press R, get to your target, then Q. Oh, I had no mana. Okay, let me get my mana. Okay, so I press ultimate, get my Q, and then E, auto attack, and E again. And probably the target will be dead, like especially late game if you go on ADC like this. So that's the good part using this ability. If the enemy team has a fed teammate, let's say, you can stop him for 1.25 seconds plus 1, knocking it back again using your Q. So you get the target disabled for a few seconds using this champion. So she's really easy to play and I like her a lot. She's fun and she's free LP. Okay, now let's talk about abilities and how to put points in the abilities. So usually I start with W to farm a little bit easier in the jungle. After that I get a point in my E, and just on 3rd level I got my point in my Q, even though after that I max Q. So let's get on level 6 I get R, and after that I just max Q. But now it comes to a decisive point if you should get W first or E, like a second ability. And it depends. If they have a squishy team, I recommend you to get E first. But if they have a tanky team, you should go for W first, okay? So it depends on the occasion, but I usually max E. But sometimes when they're really tanky and maybe I'm a little bit behind, I max W. I have a bigger chance to get back in the game. So let's go on the way I said. I usually max E after that. So I'll go till level 12 to max E. Yes, of course at level 11 you will get a point in your R. So we maxed E, then we go to 14, 15, we put 2 points in W, then you go to 16, you max your ultimate, and then just max your W. So this is the way you do it. Don't forget, when you play against a tanky team, you should max W first, in my opinion, because this ability deals 10% of the target's maximum health and 10% for like let's say a champion that's 3000 HP, it's 300 damage just from this ability. We don't get this ability in counts, and plus items, I'm sure you will get more, and you especially that you get more attack speed after that, so you can do another denting blows after that. Okay guys, so let's talk about ganks. We start at top. Let me put 2 dummies here. So let's say this is the best way that I like to gank. It doesn't matter where they are, like usually when they play they are farming in the middle. So the best way to gank is to come through here, and then just when you're here, just start casting your Q, hit, and then just do your combo. Okay. But let's say sometimes I cannot go here, it's really necessary to come through here. Then if I have level 6, I start with my Q, get him up, then Q, E, and do my combo, and it's done. He's probably dead. Okay. Again, if the players are under the tower, it's a lot easier to gank with any champion. You just come through the river, and if it's really necessary, I usually don't start with R, only if it's necessary. I start with Q, and if he flashes or gets away, then I R him. Okay? Of course, the things play the same if you are on the other part. You just like if you're playing on the top side, your team is on the top side, then you just gank through the river. Yeah, it's the only way you can. From here, I don't usually recommend it because really you cannot knock him up, only if he's really near to the edge, so you cannot gank through here. Okay, let's talk about ganks mid. So again, let's usually it goes like this. On mid it doesn't matter on which side they are. With Vi, in my opinion, mid is the hardest to gank. Yeah, this is for me the hardest at least, because on mid it's really easy for them to escape. So you come through here, you use your Q, and as I said, it usually I don't start with my R, only if it's really necessary to stop him, like when my ally is really low, so I have to R first, then do my combo. But in the rest, I usually start with my Q, and if I miss or I don't know, he tries to escape, I use my R and knock him up. Okay. But sometimes I start with my R when, let's say, I counter gank, you know, and there are 2 in a row. I know that I'm gonna stun the first one, and I just okay, let me reset. Auto refresh cooldown. Yeah, so when it's this situation, I maybe use R to just stun this guy too, and then just use my combo, and then I focus to the second champion. Of course, you don't really can gank when he is under tower. You can dive sometimes, but Vi early game is very squishy, so I don't recommend diving with her, only if you have a really tanky teammate on this side. Let's say when your teammate is getting pushed, if he's here, I don't really recommend coming through here. I recommend coming through the river directly and don't go this way, and just go like this. You knock him up with your Q. If he uses flash, you just use R and finish the job. Probably your teammate will help you a lot. So Vi is a really good early champion, and I recommend using her early game to invade. So after you are level 6, you can easily invade the enemy champions. So make sure you do that, and you will probably win a lot of fights like this. And if you get solo kills against the enemy jungler, you get really in front and you get to level up really a lot faster. So let's talk about the last lane, which is bot lane. And here, let's say they are farming in the mid. Yeah. So of course it's a lot easier when your team is on the top lane. You come through here and gank. But this is the hard way to gank. And this is why usually here I don't start with my Q and then do my combo after level 6, of course. I usually start with my R, especially when the enemy teammates are in line, so I can use the ability, the stun from my R for the champions on my way. So I just R and using my teammates so we can kill them. Of course, when they are pushing, it's a lot easier. You just come through the river, or maybe you can even come from your jungle. And that's the thing, guys. Don't remember that your R has a bigger range than your Q. So I know maybe you should have went for this one because this stunned the other champion. So don't forget about this. Like, your ultimate cannot be stopped and has a true sight of the target. Any enemies in the way are dealt damage, knocked aside, and stunned for 0.75 seconds. So this is very important, guys. Keep this in mind and use this in your favor. Okay, guys, so now that we talked about abilities, we should talk about jungle path. Okay, so I will let the game. I usually with Vi started blue side. I like it more. I saw a lot of players start from red side, so I will do that jungle path too. But first I will go with this jungle path. Of course, maybe I will get a little bit lower than usually, because usually I get a leash at blue. So I usually take W first, because it helps me clear a lot easier, giving me reduced armor on my target, more damage, and attack speed. So it's perfect for the start. And a lot of you guys told me that I don't know how to kite, but I do know. But sometimes it's like I'm too focused on the game and I forget about that. Early game I usually do it, because early game every second is very important. So let's try a really good jungle path. Yeah, I usually don't use smite on blue. Maybe I use it on frog, but it depends. Oh, and this time I made a mistake. I usually keep my E for every time I get my passive on, to get that shield on me. So it's very important. After that, after frog, I usually do wolves. Yeah, the wolves are the worst to kite. I don't know. It's the hardest for me to kite. Sometimes I do it good, sometimes not. Yeah, and I usually keep my smite directly for red, because when I play Vi, I usually get contested on red, so I keep it just to make sure I can secure my red. Okay. So after that, it's minute 3. I usually see if I can gank bot or mid, or on if I'm on the other side to gank top or mid. Okay, and then I just wait for scuttler. Why? Because maybe I do Krugs, but rarely I do that. Because Vi is an early champion, so I should check for a gank. So I smite scuttler, or I don't smite it. I don't know. It depends. After that, I just do Krugs, and if I don't have anything to gank, because it gets me level 4. With Vi, you don't really need to get level 6 to get a really good gank. As you saw, like, you have Q, which is really good early game. and you max your Q. Okay, so let's reset the game and do the other jungle path. So if you want to start at red, you take W again. So it's the same how you put your abilities, but you do things differently. You do red, and then I wouldn't do wolves after that. So I go red, then blue, then I do the frog, and after that I try to gank because I gank top. Like I have my red on, I have my blue, so I'm level 3, so I can gank. Okay, let's spawn the jungle and don't wait. Okay, so let's do it the same. I will keep this time. Probably I will keep smite for the frog. Okay, I get E second thing, and after that I go directly blue. So but this time it's like 100% necessary to force a gank after that, because Cutler doesn't spawn very soon. Yeah, I smited blue. Yeah, this is not my best one. So you should focus on your passive. Yeah, frog is hard to kite. Okay, and now you look for a gank because you are level 3, you have blue, you have red, so gank it would be awesome right now. And if you can get a kill for top. Early game with Vi, I don't usually let my teammates get kills, because if I get like at level 6, I already have 2 or 3 kills, I will probably carry the game. So, yeah. Because I cannot trust my teammate that maybe he will carry the game. I know what I can do with Vi, I don't know what that guy can do with that champion, so try to get kills early game. After that, maybe leave some kills for the enemy team, for your teammate, but at first, get the kills. So once again, if you start at blue, you do blue, frog, wolves, and then red, then try to gank Scuttler. And if you start at red, don't remember that you start red, you go blue, then you get frog, you gank, you have to force a gank, and then you come for Scuttler. Okay? Good. So now that we talked about abilities, how to put points in them, the jungle path of for Vi, and how to gank, let's talk about runes. So in my opinion, you have to use domination. And for the keystone, you should get from Hail of Blades to Electrocute, but I don't really like Electrocute on Vi, so you should go for Hail of Blades, because gain a large amount of attack speed for the first 3 attacks mode against an enemy champion. So, if you remember Vi's abilities, after you get 3 auto attacks on the enemy champion, you get 30% or something attack speed, reduced armor, and also it gets a lot of damage on the champion. So, but the thing is, you have to get that free auto attacks, and Hail of Blades helps you a lot to get that free stacks from your W on the enemy champion. After that, you get Sudden Impact, because you gain a burst of lethality and magic penetration after using a dash. So your Q is a dash, and even your R is good for this. Eyeball collection, collect eyeballs for champion takedowns. So as I said, you're jungler, you have to get eyeball collection. And Relentless Hunters, unique takedowns grant permanent out of combat magic MS. So after that, I recommend Precision and get Triumph and Legend Alacrity. And for this one's 10% attack speed, it's really good for you because you need attack speed, 9 adaptive force, and 6 armor. If you really want, you can get Electrocute. I played it a little bit with Electrocute, but I really don't like it. It's really hard for me to get kills and really finish the job. So this is the runes that I recommend you playing with Vi. Okay, so in the build I prepared two builds that I usually use. The first one is for against a squishy team. So if they are maybe 3 or 4 of them are really squishy, I start with a jungle item, then get Ninja Tabi, then Trinity Force, and after that I get Sterak's Guard and Guardian Angel. But sometimes on my third item I get Guardian Angel. It depends. If I'm a really important target for them, I get Target Angel as my third item. But sometimes I do like this. I get my third item, Deadman's Plate, just to secure some tankiness for team fights, because I know that I will be a target if I get really fed. But it depends. Of course, if I get Deadman's Plate, if their best champion is an AD champion, but if it's a magic resist, if it's an AP champion, I will get Abyssal Mask. So it depends on the situation. But sometimes, let's say the game it doesn't go so well for you and you're a little bit behind, you shouldn't go Trinity Force as your, let's say, second item. And on the boots you can use Ninja Tabi or the Magic Resist boots, depending on what are the enemy team focusing on. Like if they have more AP, you should go the Magic Resist boots. If they have more AD, you should go on Ninja Tabi. So if they have like an AP champion that is really good right now, you should start with Abyssal Mask as a second item, and maybe you can squish Trinity as your third item, like this. Like this. But it depends on the situation. Maybe you should do even Deadman's Plate and let your team carry you a little bit, but trust me, you still do a lot of damage, but it allows you to do a lot more crowd control abilities during the team fights, because you have a lot of health, a lot of armor, a lot of magic resist, so you can stay alive more, so you can press Q a lot more. Of course, if you do cooldown reduction, and after the buff on Vi, if you do cooldown reduction Vi, you will get a 3 seconds cooldown on your Q. And so you will be able to use it at least 4 or 5 times in a team fight if you go as a tanky build. So it depends on the situation. Trinity Force is a must for him, in my opinion. But if you have really good teammates, you can do even a full tank champion, but starting with the AD jungle item. Okay, so this is the ways that I play Vi. It's really fun, guys. You should play her a lot. She will become a lot better after this patch, so spam her to get free LP. So this concludes the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of videos, please let me know in the comments section. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget that the giveaway which will take place as soon as this channel get to 500 subscribers. So subscribe and enjoy my videos. And until next time, do not forget that League of Legends is a team game and not a single player one. See ya!